Behind me is the museum's new display, Natural Forms. It showcases just a tiny fraction of the shells in the museum's collection. All of these shells belong to a group of organisms called the molluscs. Mark Carnall is Life Collections Manager here at the Museum of Natural History, and so we asked him to tell us more about this elusive group of organisms.
Molluscs are a major group of animals. It's the second largest group of animals after the arthropods. The living molluscs, we think there are around 100,000 species, and with many more to be described. We have about the same when it comes to the fossil record. And it includes 8 major groups today. So from the familiar gastropods, which are slugs and snails, through to bivalves, that's your clams, scallops, your mussels. It includes the cephalopods, which is your squid, octopus, nautilus. It also includes some less familiar, perhaps, groups, such as the chitons, scaphopods, which are tusk shells, and then the really obscure groups, which are monoplacophorans, which look like little cap shells, and then 2 groups, which are sometimes grouped together, the cordofoveates and selenogasts, which are worm-like molluscs. But what is a mollusk has been one of the more difficult questions to answer in zoology. And that's because unlike other groups, so for example with arthropods, we have a segmented exoskeleton, and we can quite easily see that on anything from a crab to a beetle. With the mollusks, they don't have that convenient suite of characters, which helps us to easily say which is a mollusk and which isn't. So for example, the radula is a classic character. It is a kind of conveyor belt of tiny teeth on a tongue, which we find in 7 of the groups, but the bivalves don't have radulae at all. They've lost those through evolution. And the tusk shells, it's really, really reduced, sometimes just 1 tooth. Another example is having an external shell. So if we think about snails and mussels, so either a single shell or a double shell. But then obviously there are things like octopus and squid, which will have a reduced or internalized shell. So it's only through coming up with these characters and then looking across groups and then informed from not only the fossil record, but embryological development, what they do as larvae, that we've managed to patch together what a mollusk is.
But with such a large and diverse group of organisms, where do you even start with selecting specimens? Mark spoke to us about the process of curating the display.
When we were thinking about the displays in the main court, particularly in the centre where we find the natural forms case, we wanted to highlight the strengths of the museum collection. So molluscs is a very large biological group, but also in the museum collection across our zoological and paleontological collections, we have hundreds of thousands of specimen lots and probably millions of individual shells. So we knew that we wanted to feature molluscs somewhere. So after some thinking and kind of going back to the drawing board a number of times, we decided to focus on the externally shelled molluscs and focusing on 3 of the major groups. So we have these 3 teardrops, one of which is the gastropods, so that's your snails from terrestrial to marine, one of which is the cephalopods, which we have nautilus and ammonoid shells, and one of which is the bivalves.
Each of these groups of molluscs is used to demonstrate patterns of shell growth. Diversity can arise from just a few variations on a simple model, such as the height of a shell spire, the tightness of its coil, and through small changes in the direction of growth that produce ornamentation. But in the weird world of molluscs, not everything that looks like a shell is what it seems.
So for the keen-eyed amongst you, we did put in 1 Easter egg. Not much to do with Easter, but definitely an egg. So in the cephalopod tier here, right at the top, we have a nice, what looks like a spiral shell, looking like the ammonites and nautilus surrounding it. But actually this is an Argonaut egg case. So that has this nice spiral shell. It's not truly a shell, it's a egg case that's manufactured by the females. So next time you're in, do see if you can spot the egg case amongst the true shells.
To find out more stories like these from the museum's collections and research, visit our website and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.